A Republican candidate running to be North Carolina's top educator wanted Donald Trump to become a literal dictator. Michelle Barrow, a right-wing political activist, had won the North Carolina Republican primary for superintendent of public instruction earlier this year, unseating incumbent Republican Catherine Truitt in the race. And big surprise, but not really. She's a conspiracy theorist and a Jan 6er. She was at the rally, even though she didn't actually break into the building, but she was at the rally. And after that, called for Trump to do a military coup to stay in power. That's right. CNN, and there's some social media posts in which Morrow had, again, shared some pretty disturbing things. For one, wanting to see Barack Obama executed for whatever. I don't know. Probably because he's black. Obama. Let's be honest. They're basically not even hiding their racism at all anymore. But in March, CNN had confronted Morrow over comments posted on a now-deleted X account in January 2021 saying, quote, "I prefer a pay-per-view of him in front of a firing squad. I do not wish to waste tax another dime on supporting his life. We could make some money back from televising his death." Weird. Now, they also had found video where she had expressed desire to have Trump use the military to stay in power after he lost the 2020 election. On the night of January 6th, Morrow had posted a since-removed live stream on her friend's Facebook account advocating for a military coup. In the video, she said this, quote, "President Trump is still president until the 20th, so he can still invoke the executive order against voter fraud." There wasn't actually voter fraud. "And now he has every player that participated in his sites, and they can all be arrested for treason. And if the police won't do it and the Department of Justice won't do it, then he will have to enact the Insurrection Act. In which case, the Insurrection Act completely puts the Constitution to the side and says, now the military rules all. Okay?" Wait, what? No. No. Further on, she goes, "And let me tell you, President Trump has the military on his side because the military and many leaders in the military who love this nation and love our Constitution." By the way, she just said, we're going to put the Constitution right to the side. Who love this nation and love their Constitution and who have put their life on the line to protect the freedoms of the people in the United States that they will never meet. They chose President Trump to be their candidate. So as long as he invokes the Insurrection Act before the inauguration, then he's going to be re-inaugurated. He's going to be put back in. There is nothing like saying, we love the Constitution, right before saying, I think Donald Trump should put it to the side and shred it. Yeah, this is why we say that Republicans are authoritarians, that they actually don't care about the Constitution at all. For one, there is no voter fraud, all right? Secondly, the fact that they have not been able to prove voter fraud doesn't matter to them. Again, just forget about the evidence. It was never about the evidence. It was about having Donald Trump take over. This is why Republicans are authoritarians. They're out there saying, literally, hey, we should have a dictatorship and Donald Trump should rule us all. Look, a lot of this election fraud BS, by the way, getting back to Obama, was a racist reaction to Barack Obama winning the election. The far right couldn't believe it. It broke their tiny little brains because they're weird and racist and they live in this world, this bubble where they believe that they're in the mainstream and that no one would ever elect an N-word. Honestly, that's when their brains really, really broke. That's where we just went beyond the line, all right? And Republicans just went off en masse into crazy land, okay? Couldn't handle a black man being president, even though he was a pretty milquetoasty, centrist Democrat, you know, that didn't really advance that much for the black community specifically. And did Republican ideas. I mean, the Affordable Care Act, basically Romney Care, but on a national level. So, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter what Obama did because it wasn't about what he did. It was about who he was and what he looked like. He was a black man that was the president of the United States, and that was enough. It broke their brains, and it's still broken. And they come up with this whole voter fraud narrative to try to justify it, like real Americans would never vote for that, for the N-word. So it must be voter fraud, illegals, they're busing people in, helped by the Jews. You know, all this insane conspiracy stuff as a result of Obama, okay? They can't fathom that they're not in the mainstream anymore. That's why this whole weird attack actually works, because it turns out they're weird. They're weird. They don't believe in the things that the rest of America actually does. And so they live in this bubble. And they can't understand the country has moved on without them, and that people are not as racist as they are. Okay, so it must be the fraud, must be the illegals, it must be that's the reason that why we don't win elections anymore. Deep state, Democrats have rigged the system. No, none of that's true. None of that's true. The right wing is just not representative of the average American on their views. The average American is actually, especially on economic and social issues, pretty progressive. Okay, things like paid leave, okay, things like a higher minimum wage, okay, things like that, labor unions, you know, worker protections, and not only that, but things like same-sex marriage. The majority of Americans are in favor of that. Not only that, but again, you could see in some of the more recent primaries where Republicans just like double, triple down on hating trans people, where that's not like a motivating factor for the average American. They're like, what are you doing? Why is it that trans people are living rent-free in your heads, you weirdos? No, you know what? The thing that we're facing right now the most is inflation, is being able to afford a house or a home. We've got rents that are out of control. We do have an inflation issue. Where prices are out of control. We've got rampant corporate greed, massive corporate profits. But again, you're obsessed with this stuff, okay? That's what they have to make up insane conspiracy theories. And unfortunately, those conspiracy theories, they do get people hurt. They do get people killed, okay? Now, in the video, she had also mentioned, if you're going to commit treason, if you're going to participate in fraud in the United States election, we're coming after you. Well, then wait a minute. You're participating in fraud, because you're saying that there was mass voter fraud when there's no evidence of that whatsoever. I gotta ask, North Carolina, is this person the kind of person you want to elect? I mean, I don't know. If you're a normal person, probably not. But I guess we'll have to see what happens in November. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.